let's dive into the Baker Mayfield conversation for a little bit here, Robert, since you have a history of I guess feeling what's the word for, I don't know if disrespect, I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but feeling led astray a bit by the organization that drafted you for another quarterback, although Deshaun Watson was not drafted in the same draft as Baker Mayfield, as Kirk Cousins was with you. But there's a lot of conversation right now as Watson is undergoing the disciplinary process with the league and the Players Association, that should the suspension be so significant, Mayfield should consider maybe his best option is to stay put and use the team that he's currently upset with, that drafted him, to showcase his abilities for another deal. I'm wondering if you would agree with that, or you think he should get a fresh start and tell everyone to pound sand. Robert Griffin III.
Rich, I'm actually going to take a different angle towards that, because you asked the question as if should Baker decide to stay. I think the Browns should offer the olive branch to Baker and ask him to stay if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for a significant amount of time. Baker's proven that in this city he can go win a playoff game, get you to the playoffs, do all those things. Last year he played hurt and wasn't very effective. But the bottom line is Baker Mayfield's better than Jacoby Brissett. That's just the bottom line. And if you're going to have to play a full season with a guy, your best option is to go back to Baker Mayfield and beg him to stay, and then present it to him in the same way that you just did, Rich. There's an opportunity for you to go prove yourself to the next team that you're going to go play for, right? Deshaun Watson's here. They paid him $230 million, rubies, whatever you want to call them. He's going to be the quarterback there at some point, unless he's suspended indefinitely and some other thing down the line happen. So I think the Browns should approach Baker and say, we need you. We're sorry how this all worked out, but we want to give you an opportunity to go out there and prove yourself. And I think Baker should take that. Now, I have seen that Baker has already said that both sides have moved on. He doesn't want anything to do with the team, essentially. But I think he should reconsider that, because this roster is stacked with playmakers at every position, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and they have a great offensive line. You might not get a better opportunity to go out and prove yourself than Baker would have with the Browns.
Yeah, but just imagine what it would be like just to walk through the hallways of that place when you've already put it in the dustbin of your memory, right? All week, and thinking, I would just be staring at the ceiling sometimes saying, how the hell did this happen with the Browns? And to hell with them, But then again, I understand, I know your history as well, where you've taken jobs that you knew you had to take in order to get where you want to go. I get it, but man, that would be a tough one to swallow if I'm Mayfield.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It would be tough for Baker to do that, and I think that's why he already came out and said that he's done with the Browns and he doesn't want to come back. But as we all know, things can change in a heartbeat. Maybe they offer him a little bit more money to come back and do that. They seem to be throwing money around like it's growing on trees. So maybe they could do something like that. But I tend to agree with you on this one, Rich, that Baker and the Browns are so far gone. And the Browns made the mistake of pursuing Deshaun Watson along with the other 13 teams, but they made the mistake of pursuing him while they still had Baker on their roster.
So
they should, if they wanted to get rid of him, they should have traded him before they went to pursue Deshaun Watson, because now it's just a massive cluster.
So let me ask you this question, because you always seem game for this sort of stuff, Robert Griffin III. Had Washington called you after you parted ways with them and said, you know what, our situation's so dire, we want you back, would you have done it?
Last year, I put out the tweet and the Instagram post saying make the call when they were pretty banged up at quarterback. I just think it does require dire situation for guys to consider going back to a place that essentially is like, the ex-girlfriend. They always tell you don't go back to the person or go back to the place where you got hurt as far as emotionally. And for me, that would be I'd be going back to a place I got hurt physically, emotionally, and everything under the sun. But at the end of the day, if you love football and you love the guys in that locker room, the teammates that I still have or had there in Washington, then you make that sacrifice. Because it's not about you in that moment. It's about you getting an opportunity to go play the game you love and put on a show for a fan base that you love. So, yeah, if Washington had called me last year, would I have gone and went and balled out? Yes, 100%.
Well, I was
so I think it just depends on your own situation.
Well, I kind of meant like right away. You know, they've changed team names twice, let alone coaches, right? So, had it been right away, right, where the front office was pretty much darn the same, and would you have done it? Do you think?
Yeah, Rich, that's a massive no. Yeah, that's a massive no. But I misunderstood the question at first.
No. I inartfully asked
after,
it. I did not ask it
after
properly.
a few years, when they've changed coaches, changed the administration, tried to implement things that make the organization better, it might give you some pause to say, okay, maybe I'll think about this. But no, not immediately. No way.